Mark Rogers TV USC edition with Nick Dempsey from Conquest Chronicles and a number of off-season moves going around campus in regards to players coming and going. And, of course, National Signing Day just 2 weeks away. So let's start with a guy who was a prized recruit who turned over the cap that read USC and made a lot of Trojan fans very happy a few years ago, but now marching off to the NFL after his junior campaign. Nick, Adoree Jackson, of course, one of the bigger talents in college football, and he has closed his career there at USC.
Yeah, it's not unexpected, but it's still tough to see him go. He and Juju Smith-Schuester had sort of agreed they were going to make the same decision as to whether or not to go or come back. Juju fairly early on said he's going to the NFL draft, but we didn't hear anything from Adoree, and he was still going to class up until the deadline to announce for the draft. And then the day of the NFL draft declaration deadline, he did announce that he's going pro. And it's going to be tough to replace him because when you have a guy that can do everything and you use him for everything, you're not just losing one defensive back. You're losing a cornerback, your best cornerback. You're losing a punt returner, a kick returner. You're losing an offensive weapon. You're losing a lot of positivity and leadership in the locker room. So, they have a lot to replace. Now, I think USC has the talent there, and I think Imam Marshall is going to have to step up and be the leader of that unit. And they've got Jack Jones and Ajani Harris, and they've got some talent, but losing him losing Adoree is, while not surprising, it is going to create a couple of different holes they're going to need to fill. But they should have the talent there. But it's he's a big loss.
So the speed and athletic ability is off the charts, but we have some mixed reviews in regards to his actual productivity at USC and more so how it projects to the NFL. So Thorpe Award winner, meaning best defensive back in the country, defensive player of the year in the Pac-12. Although a lot of people, I have heard some recent reports in regards to Jackson's productivity or his projection to the NFL and linked to his productivity in college, that he gave up quite a few touchdown passes this year. There's obviously a story behind that. You can't just say, okay, he gave up, I think it was 8 touchdown passes or touchdown passes in 8 games. Therefore, he's overrated. Do you have any feel for what the truth might be there?
A lot of it is his size. He's not, I believe he's only 5'11". He's not the biggest cornerback, so he can be kind of pushed around. A lot of his stats also come from the fact that he plays in the Pac-12, and there's a lot of passes being thrown around that league. So, his stats are going to drop a little bit. I think also a lot of it was he was trying to do too much, playing offense, kickoffs, punt returns, and defense in a pass-heavy Pac-12. I think that just wears him down. I think also the incredible plays in the Rose Bowl that the Penn State wide receivers made, they made everybody look foolish, and I think they would have made any defensive back in the country look ridiculous on that afternoon. But I think the one play that sort of defines sort of the mixed feelings people have about Adoree in terms of his pro prospects was against Utah, when Utah scored that go-ahead touchdown, 12 or 13 seconds left in the game. Adoree fell down, and the wide receiver got wide open for an easy touchdown. But you turn around, and he made the key interception against Washington that delivered their first loss and only loss of the regular season against a great quarterback like Jake Browning. So he has his ups and downs, but he has also the speed and the talent where he can kind of compensate for those sorts of deficiencies when he gets pushed around because of his size or other things like that. I do think his size is going to concern a lot of people at the NFL level for sure. If you're going up against a 240-pound wide receiver who's also 6'4", Adoree might be fast, but if he can get knocked off the line very quickly, I think that's a concern. But he just has such freakish athletic talent that it's hard for me to believe someone's not going to take an early risk on him just to see what he can do and what they can do with him at the NFL level.
ESPN's Todd McShay has him listed as the 6th rated cornerback going into the NFL draft. Mel Kiper, not a big fan of Adoree Jackson, does not have him listed in the top 10 cornerbacks. And of course, we know the versatility. We mentioned his play at cornerback, return man who returned 8 punts and kickoffs for touchdowns. There's only a couple players in the history of college football that have exceeded that number, 39 catches over his career, as he was used kind of progressively more at wide receiver as his career went on. 39 catches, 6 interceptions as well. 628 yards on offense at the receiver position. Adoree Jackson, one of the greats in USC history. We'll see if maybe we come back, Nick, in 10 years and we do a video podcast talking about whether Adoree Jackson, one of the greatest USC players in the NFL. But I'm sure he'll make a buck or two and stick around for a while.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll have the natural athletic ability to stick around. I can't sit here and tell you he's going to be, the next Ronnie Lott or Troy Polamalu. But I think he'll have the talent to hang around in the league for a while.